Right, welcome back to the channel. So, Ryan Garcia has been ordered to fight Luke Campbell for a title shot for, I think it's a title eliminator, which would allow the winner to get a shot at Devin Haney for the lightweight title. I think Ryan Garcia is getting thrown to them wolves a little bit early, but let's talk about that in this video. First and foremost, man, I think that I'm starting to like Ryan Garcia. Okay. I wasn't the biggest fan of Ryan Garcia when he turned pro because I'm looking at him, I'm hearing a lot of good things about him, hearing him, compared to Devin Haney, and hear people talk about how he and Devin Haney went back and forth with in the amateurs, and right. So a lot of talking about him when I first started watching him fight, though. I just wasn't particularly impressed. I thought, hey, the guy's chin is up. It's just sticking straight up in the air. It's only a matter of time before somebody is able to get a handle on that. And at that point in time, then I'll decide whether or not I think the dude is a really good fight, whether or not he's going to make it or not. Now, I've seen him fight a few more times, and one thing that I will say that I didn't really appreciate about Ryan Garcia is that Ryan Garcia wants to throw. Okay, and Ryan Garcia got some fast hands, and he's got a lot of pop. I mean, so he definitely has the ability with all of these dudes to get them dudes legs twitching. He definitely has a lot of pop. But again, it's just something about the way the guy fights, kind of in a straight up position that makes me a little bit worried. But as far as his personality goes and his seeming willingness to fight everybody and stand up for himself, I think the dude shows that he's got a lot of personality, and he wants it, right? And he wants it. And I think that he really wants to earn it. He kind of throws me off a little bit with the pretty boy stuff, but hey, man, the dude can't help how he looks. That's what people think about how he looks. That ain't on him. That's on everybody else. So I got to kind of just get my head around the fact, about what this guy's actual personality is and what he seems to be like as far as his fighting spirit. And, when I just stop and take a look at him, I'm like, yeah, this guy, I like him, man. I like him. I like how he stands up for himself. I like that ish that he talks. And I do like him as a fighter. I'm just not sure, though, if he is the type of fighter that you should push along, extremely quickly. Now, he's coming up, and at the same time as some other very, very talented guys right around his weight class, like Shakur Stevenson, who's down at he's at 130 now, even though he's still holding on to the 126-pound belt. He's just one weight class down from him and is going to be at 135 pounds before too long. Then, of course, you've got Devin Haney, who's got the WBC belt, even though the WBC screwed him over and how he got it. He's still a champion, is definitely, an up-and-coming star in the sport of boxing that a lot of people have their eyes on. Same thing goes for Teofimo Lopez. Teofimo Lopez is the IBF champion. He has a fight coming up, hopefully against Vasily Lomachenko, but he's right there with those group of guys. And those guys are all moving more quickly than Ryan Garcia is. So this order from the WBC for Ryan Garcia to fight Luke Campbell, that to me is like, okay, that's his first big step up fight. And he's been asking for it. Now, I know that he said that he wanted to fight Jorge Linares, but then Jorge Linares had the offer that Ryan Garcia got for Jorge Linares was not high enough for him. I think it was like $200,000 that he was offered. So that's why he didn't take that fight. But this fight right here would be this fight right here would be to get a shot at the WBC title. But so what makes me think is like, why so quick with Ryan Garcia? Now, Ryan Garcia against Luke Campbell, the fight itself, man, I want to say that's a pick'em fight for me, man. That's like a 50-50 fight. I think that Ryan Garcia is the more talented of the two fighters, right? And I don't think that Luke Campbell is some world beater by any stretch of the imagination. I think that he's just he's a good fighter. Technically, he's a sound fighter. He's going to do the right things in the ring. He's got decent power. He's got good form, right? But just, nothing that is really, there's nothing really special about Luke Campbell, but Luke Campbell is a solid fighter with real experience, having been in the ring with Jorge Linares, having been in the ring with Vasily Lomachenko, having an Olympic gold medal that he won from the UK. I just think that the guy he's a veteran. He's a good fighter with good experience. And although he's not as talented as Ryan Garcia, right? He doesn't have the power. He doesn't have the hand speed. The experience, the fact that he is a gritty guy, it just seems to me like, man, if this might just be biting off a little bit more, this might be Ryan Garcia biting off a little bit more than he can chew. And I think that they're moving him. I think that they might be moving him a little bit too quickly with this one. I would prefer to see him, but then again, he's the one that wants it. He's the guy that wants to get the title shot. He wants to be able to get up there and say that he's doing the things that these other guys are doing in this age group, right? And this fight would lead him to a Devin Haney fight. Now, if he's able to beat Luke Campbell, well, let me say this about the Luke Campbell fight. Him fighting Luke Campbell, I think, is as big a step up as any of those other fighters have had that I mentioned, with the exception of maybe Teofimo Lopez versus Richard Comey. Because I think that Richard Comey versus Luke Campbell is a pick'em fight. But I think that Luke Campbell would be a better win and is a harder fight than anything that Shakur Stevenson has had to date. I think that it is probably a better and a stronger opponent than Devin Haney has had to date. I think that the biggest one for him was probably the last one, kind of tall, awkward guy, Santiago, the guy that Devin Haney had hurt, Haney had hurt his shoulder fighting. I think that is probably the only guy. Well, I do believe that Luke Campbell is a better bit of competition than Santiago was. So, it's a big step up for Ryan Garcia, but at the same time, I think that it would put him on par with the experiences that those other guys have had, if not get him the belt. Now, one thing that I would like to understand is how the WBC went from Javier Fortuna being the mandatory for Devin Haney to there being a fight where Devin Haney then gets stripped and then or gets elevated, really got stripped. And then Luke Campbell is ordered to fight the same kid guy. What is his name again, man? Luke Campbell, right? Javier Fortuna's is ordered to fight Luke Campbell, Javier Fortuna and Luke Campbell. And then somehow it goes from Javier Fortuna, I think, has to pull out of that fight or something. And now it is Ryan Garcia against Luke Campbell. When what should have happened was Javier Fortuna should just get his mandatory shot, right? That's where it was when Devin Haney was a champion. You reinstated him. Why wouldn't you just reinstate his mandatory? Why do you need to have a fight between Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia and Luke Campbell for that mandatory shot when you'd already ordered a mandatory in Javier Fortuna? It would seem that Javier Fortuna would be the guy that would be up next for Devin Haney regardless, right? But we understand why that doesn't take place, right? Because the WBC is going to we can get sanctioning fees from Luke Campbell. We get bigger sanctioning fees against Luke Campbell and Ryan Garcia than we would chance that you would get versus Javier Fortuna and Devin Haney. So, there you go. It's just The money makes the decision. The guys with the bigger promoters are the ones that are going to get the fights. You even hear Eddie Hearn talking about God, who was it that he talked about and how he got these guys. He told them, "We're going to get you 2 title fight fences. I got you 2 title shots." Like, how does the promoter get to tell the fighter that they got them the shot, right? It should be that the fighter earned the shot and that the WBC acknowledged, or the sanctioning body acknowledged, that they got the shot and gave it to him. But anyway, that's me on this one. I don't mind the fight at all. I think Ryan Garcia is getting moved a little too quickly. But hey, man, he wants to be up with those other guys. Hey, it's time to go. It's time to go. If he wants to make the big money, it needs to be against the guys that pose a risk. And if he's able to get past Luke Campbell, then that's one step closer to a Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney fight for the WBC title, which I would be shocked if it happened. And I would be shocked if that happened anytime soon. But anyway, it is what it is. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.